guys. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Shalanabattles. I am indie author of 2 books, Soul Jumper, which is a paranormal romance, and The Man Before You, which is a contemporary romance. Today's video, I kind of wanted to talk about something I've been struggling with a little bit, and it's something I struggle with all the time, and that is deepening point of view. And I'm not gonna say that I feel like I'm great at it, but I thought it would be interesting, I guess, to talk about a few things that I've done to kind of help me be better at it. And so those of you that have been following me, you know I'm not a planner, with the exception of trying my hand at dictation. I don't plan. I sit down and I write, and what comes, comes. And sometimes that's really messy and definitely needs revising, but it gives me a starting point. And so I don't really think too hard when it comes to my first draft. And then I go back and read through it and edit and make revisions and things like that. But as far as like deepening point of view, you know, that's moving away from words like feels or thinks or whatever. It's that showing versus telling that you're always hearing writers talk about. And sometimes that's really hard. Sometimes it's hard because you want to convey an emotion, and obviously the easy way to do that is use the word, right? She feels anxious. She feels angry. People can assign kind of their own meaning to those words because they've felt those things before. But obviously in writing it's not very detailed, and it's not that deep level that you want. I have written a book in first person. I've written a book in third person, and the encampment that I'm working on is first person point of view. The series I'm working on is all first person point of view. And I had somebody tell me the other day, like, with first person, you have such a unique opportunity to really dive into that deep point of view. And it's very true, because when you're talking in first person, you can use, you know, their thoughts, what they're seeing, all of this stuff to convey certain emotions. And you don't have to worry because you're using I, and you're talking as if you are feeling those things. And so it kind of does open up like an additional level of description. So when you're thinking about deepening point of view, I would look at, okay, how are you writing? Who's the narrator? What point of view are you attacking this thing from, first off? And if you don't write first person, obviously you can still have in-depth point of view. But for me, I struggle more with it when I'm writing in third person. And so that's something to consider. And some people hate first person. I love writing in first person present tense. And some people despise it. And so it kind of just depends on your writing style and kind of where you're going. But one of the things I started doing is I got the Emotion Thesauruses, I think is what they're called. Let me look. And I can tell you guys for sure. Sarah Sutton recommended them, and I think she said somebody recommended them to her. But they're extremely helpful when it comes to not just deepening point of view, but kind of changing up like how you say things. Yeah, the Emotion Thesaurus. And so let me open this up, we'll see. If I can show you guys the cover. I got mine just the Kindle version. And you can get hardbacks as well. And they have them for a lot of things, not just emotion. But I found this really helpful as I've been writing because, I mean, you can look through here like, let's see, doubt. And it gives you the physical signals and behaviors of doubt. So actual actions that convey doubt, which I think is really cool. It also talks about like the mental responses, and then it gives you like the long term, what somebody would look like if they were experiencing doubt long term. So this thing has helped me tremendously. It's been a lifesaver on deepening point of view, on taking out words like feel and wish and think and believe and all of those things that get really overused. And so I would highly recommend checking that out. The other thing that I've been doing a lot is acting through those things. And so actually getting up and doing the motion. And I think that made a big difference for me. Because I was talking to a friend the other day, and especially when you do this with dialogue tags, I struggle so much with dialogue tags. They're awkward. They can be really awkward. Like you have one person talking, then the next person talking, but there needs to be action, right? You're not just talking heads back and forth. My editor loves to say that. You have talking heads right here. And that's another way where you can really deepen that point of view when they're having a conversation with somebody, and then it's like, okay, how do they feel about what they're saying? How do they feel about what's being said to them? What is happening? Not just, describing what's around them, but their actual physical presence and what's happening with that. Because people, they talk with their hands. They have facial expressions. They move when they talk. And so I've been paying a lot of attention to my own conversations. And so, and it's not even book related. I could be talking to another mom about our kids and paying attention. Okay, what is my body doing? What is their body doing? And just watching those signals and those cues. And it sounds silly, but even just like people watching when you're in the store, how are the people shopping together interacting? In a restaurant, things like that, because you'll see them lean close to each other or far away. Do they hold hands? So people watching has been really, really good for me and my writing. And then, like I said, in my own conversations with friends, with my husband, with my son, what am I doing? And kind of going through those motions. The other thing is relatability, and that is huge for me in my writing. If you know me well, you see a lot of my real life in my books. Soul Jumper has a ton of my own personal memories in it. The Man Before You has a ton of stuff I've been through. People in my life, characters in that book very heavily based on people in my life, and things like that. The series I'm working on is things I've been through, and it doesn't have to be big things. Like in the first book of the series I'm working on, I'm basing a whole entire character on a guy in a store that owns a store here. He's a real person. I don't know him. I've interacted with him, like checking out. But being able to tie what you're doing to something real, that has helped me tremendously. And it, I believe, makes my writing stronger. So I would challenge you to try to do that because, write what you know is not bad advice. When you're writing a character and you have somebody that is a solid, physical, actual human being that you can reference and look to. And it, like I said, it doesn't have to be somebody you know. It doesn't have to be somebody you interact with on a regular basis. It could be pieces of a variety of people. And so just being able to tie your imagination to reality makes what comes on the page that much stronger when you're talking about point of view of a character and tying it to real experiences. There's, like I said, a lot of my experiences that I've actually been through, because then I can describe that emotion. I felt it, you know, I've been there. And when I haven't, I find people who have, and I talk to them and I ask them, how did you react when this happened? You know, what did you feel like the first time you were told this? And don't be afraid to ask questions to really deepen that point of view. And like I said, I am not an expert on this. I still get tagged frequently from my editor. Deepen POV, deepen POV, deepen POV. And so it's just things that I've been trying and that I've really been working hard at to get that deep point of view. So it's not this surface level, you know, he was thinking this and he saw this and then he did this. It's not, you know, this list format basically of me just telling you what the emotions are. It's really putting you in that space and in that moment and with that character. And so those are the things I would recommend. Get the Emotion Thesaurus. It is amazing. It is worth every penny. If you plan on writing anything that you want to publish, I would 100% recommend that. Second thing, find people in your life you can base characters off of. Personality traits, setting, memories, anything that ties the fictional to the truth and to solid emotion. Whether it's you've been there and you felt it, which is obviously the strongest when you're the one writing it, or somebody you can talk to that will be very open and honest with you about how they felt when they were going through those things. And then the third thing is going through the motions. People watch, conversate with people, talk to people, interact in the world, and then pay attention to how you're doing that. Pay attention to body language, pay attention to gestures and how people move in a space. And that makes a ton of difference. And so I am still doing this with the book series that I'm currently working on. And I'm sure I will get notes back on Encampment that's like, hey, you need a deepened point of view here. But if you have tips or questions about deepening point of view, please leave them in the comments. If you have tips for other writers, definitely leave those down below. I'd love to hear them. I'm sure other people would love to hear what you do as well. And if you have questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. Like I said, I'm still learning myself. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support me and my books and my videos. And quick reminder, leave reviews. Please, please, please leave reviews. Cannot stress that enough. I would love to see more reviews on Soul Jumper and The Man Before You. And remember to love yourself. Remember to believe in yourself. Keep pushing forward. Whatever you're doing is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And just keep moving in the direction you want to go. I've said this before. I know it's really easy to feel like you're doing nothing, but keep taking steps and keep reminding yourself what your end goal is, what your end plan is, and just keep pushing through. I will see you guys next week.